The text also addresses ethical and professional responsibilities, encouraging clinicians to move beyond good intentions toward accountable practice. Written as a comprehensive introduction, it is designed to support students, trainees, and practicing counselors who want a grounded starting point and a structured way to keep learning. Overall, the book aims to help readers provide services that are respectful, effective, and responsive across diverse cultural contexts. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, culture as a central clinical variable. A core theme of the book is that culture is not an add-on topic, but a central clinical variable that shapes meaning, distress, healing, and the counseling relationship. Instead of treating culture as a list of traits tied to groups, the approach invites counselors to look at culture as a dynamic system of values, communication patterns, roles, and worldviews that can differ within any community. This perspective encourages careful attention to how identity factors intersect, such as race, ethnicity, nationality, language, gender, sexuality, religion, social class, disability, and age, while also accounting for migration histories, family structures, and community. The book helps readers understand that clients may describe problems in culturally specific ways, may have different assumptions about what counseling is for, and may prefer different pathways to change, including communal or spiritual supports. Seeing culture as central reduces the risk of misdiagnosis and premature conclusions because it prompts counselors to ask better questions about context, meaning, and norms. It also supports more collaborative goal setting because counselor and client can align on what improvement looks like in the client's cultural frame rather than relying on a single dominant standard. Secondly, counselor self-awareness and cultural humility. McAuliffe emphasizes that multicultural competence begins with the counselor, not with memorizing information about others. The book highlights self-awareness as an active practice, noticing assumptions, emotional reactions, and habitual interpretations that arise when working with clients from different backgrounds. Readers are encouraged to examine their cultural identities and the ways privilege, marginalization, and socialization influence their worldview and clinical instincts. This aligns with cultural humility, which treats learning as ongoing rather than something completed by a workshop or a course. The book's approach suggests that humility involves openness to feedback, willingness to repair relational ruptures, and commitment to continuous education and supervision. It also stresses that bias can be subtle and unintentional, showing up in what counselors expect a healthy family to look like, how they interpret eye contact or silence, or how they define autonomy and maturity. By strengthening self-reflection, counselors can reduce defensiveness and increase curiosity, which improves rapport and reduces harm. Practically, this theme supports habits such as using supervision to explore cultural countertransference, seeking consultation when uncertain, and intentionally engaging with communities and scholarship that broaden the counselor's perspective over time. Thirdly, adapting counseling skills to diverse worldviews. Another important topic is the translation of cultural awareness into concrete counseling behavior. The book emphasizes that basic helping skills, such as attending, empathic reflection, questioning, goal setting, and homework planning, must be adapted to fit the client's communication style and cultural expectations. For example, some clients may value directness, while others prefer an indirect approach that preserves harmony and respect. The meaning of emotional disclosure, boundaries, and authority can vary widely, affecting how the counselors should position themselves and how quickly certain interventions should be introduced. McAuliffe's culturally alert stance encourages counselors to negotiate these differences openly rather than assuming one best way to practice. This may involve discussing preferences for formality, deciding whether family members or community supports should be involved, and choosing interventions that align with the client's values. The topic also includes the idea that culture shapes coping resources, such as faith practices, collective problem-solving, and traditions of storytelling or ritual, which can be integrated respectfully into treatment planning. By focusing on adaptable skills, the book supports clinicians in making counseling feel safe, relevant, and effective for clients whose lived experiences differ from the counselor's own. Fourthly, power, oppression, and ethical multicultural practice. Culturally alert counseling also requires attention to power and the broader social conditions that influence mental health. The book addresses how racism, discrimination, poverty, historical trauma, and unequal access to education, healthcare, and legal protection can shape presenting concerns and affect what is realistically possible for clients. This lens encourages counselors to avoid pathologizing responses that may be understandable adaptations to chronic stress or marginalization. It also highlights the inherent power difference in the counseling relationship and the ethical responsibility to use that power carefully, including how diagnoses, documentation, and clinical recommendations may carry consequences for clients. Readers are guided to think about informed consent and transparency in culturally responsive ways, ensuring clients understand the counseling process and feel agency in decisions. The book's ethical emphasis supports culturally responsive assessment, awareness of systemic bias, and commitment to professional standards that protect clients from stereotyping or neglect. This topic also connects to advocacy, suggesting that counselors sometimes need to support clients beyond individual symptom reduction, such as by helping them navigate resources, collaborate with schools or agencies, or challenge harmful barriers. Ethical multicultural practice becomes a combination of skilled counseling, accurate contextual understanding, and responsible engagement with social realities. Lastly, lifelong development of multicultural competence. The final major topic is the idea that multicultural competence is developmental and lifelong. McAuliffe positions culturally alert counseling as an evolving practice that grows through deliberate learning, real-world experience, and reflection. The book frames competence as including knowledge, skills, and attitudes, but also as the capacity to keep updating one's practice as communities change and as the counselor encounters new cultural contexts. This developmental view helps readers set realistic goals, becoming better prepared today while accepting that uncertainty will still arise and should be handled with curiosity and accountability. It also reinforces the value of supervision and consultation, especially when cultural dynamics are central to the client's concerns, or when the counselor feels stuck. Readers are encouraged to seek training that is specific and applied, to engage with research on multicultural counseling outcomes, and to learn from client feedback without making the client responsible for the counselor's education. The book's comprehensive introduction supports building a personal plan for growth, including reading widely, participating in professional communities, and reflecting on one's clinical work over time. This topic ultimately prepares counselors to remain responsive, reduce harm, and improve effectiveness across diverse client populations throughout their careers. In conclusion, this book is well suited for counseling students, practicum, and internship